So the newest Texas Chainsaw Massacre takes us 50 years after the original 1974 film. Almost eliminates all the other films in between. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, what I expected. Did it fulfill my expectations? Would I watch it again? Well, let's just get started. Before I get started in this review, I just have to send out a huge heartfelt thank you to everyone who's been watching and supporting the channel up till now. We have just recently crossed over 1,000 subscribers, and man, it feels good. Thank you all so much. I plan on improving this channel, making it grow, making it better, building a community where we can all talk about our experiences and thoughts on movies and TV shows and everything in between. And that being said, I want even bigger giveaways down the road. But with bigger giveaways, first we have to finish the one that's currently going for our $25 Fandango gift card. This is only going to last one more week. I'm going to pull a winner next weekend. I think that's like the 3rd or 4th of March. I'll put the date down below. I don't have a calendar in front of me, but I got 1 week left on this. All you got to do is subscribe, comment down below that you're entered and you want this gift card, and it's that simple. You'll be in. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about some Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. This film went directly to Netflix. Kind of glad it did. There is some good and some bad, and I want to talk about all of it. First, let's talk about what I expected out of this film. This is a huge franchise, and there were some good films in the past. There were some bad films, and this one is one that, again, seems to want to eliminate all the in-betweens. This is a direct sequel 50 years later after the 1974 original, where Leatherface has kind of went into hiding. He's been hanging out low in this ghost town named Harlow in an old abandoned orphanage where these idealistic, modern, influential teenagers come, disturb him, and, well, he just goes on a killing spree. So I expected a lot of blood. I expected a lot of gore. I definitely got all of that. Now, this was directed by David Blue Garcia, and I think he did a really good job directing the film, all the cinematics and a lot of the dark tones and just the all-in-all creepy vibes that I was expecting from the film. If you're looking for a movie that's just absolutely head to toe, blood and guts, and just, as it's named, a massacre, you're gonna enjoy this film. This was just absolute mayhem from beginning to end. Now, as much as I do love that, it did have its downfalls, and I'll talk about that in a second. But first, I want to talk about Leatherface himself. He was played by Mark Burnham, and he did a phenomenal job playing Leatherface. When it comes to characters like Leatherface, it's all about the body movements and the body language and how you move, and this guy nailed it. It's just, I got that creepy 80s slasher campy vibe from it, and I love it. It just felt so, I want to say organic and easy. It felt like it was supposed to be, you know? It's just Leatherface at his best. All right, I really enjoyed that character. Now, the character development of this film is really where it took a dive for me. The teenagers that came into the town and upset Leatherface, we don't learn a whole lot about them. I mean, I'm still kind of confused on why they were there in the first place. You get little tidbits of information dropped here and there, but I still don't have the full story. I have an idea of why I think they were there, but it was never made perfectly clear. So I think the development here is really lacking. I saw a beginning of character development of what I thought I was going to start to see from each character, but it just fell flat. We started to get a little bit, and I'm like, all right, that character is going to do this, or this character, but then they just cut off all the information, and I didn't know any more about who this person was, or why they got killed, or were they just there for bloodshed, which kind of seemed like most of the people there. The only characters I really understood in the film were Leatherface himself and Sally Hardesty, who is the sole survivor of the original film, who was looking to get her revenge. Those are the only two characters that I really understood. Everybody else is just kind of thrown into the mix to get killed. Now, speaking of killings, let's talk about some shock and awe factors, because when you have a maniac running at you with a chainsaw, there's a few basic rules. 1, run. Run as fast as you can in the other direction. All these other people are sitting there with their phones live streaming on a bus while they're all getting slaughtered. Why not jump out a window? I mean, why not like 40 of you jump and gang up on them? Yeah, probably 1 or 2 of you are going to die. But for the most part, you could incapacitate them for a few seconds and get most of you out of the bus. You all just stood in the seat and screamed. Like, really? Now, this massacring, this is where I start to have a problem too, because it gets a little far-fetched, or let's be honest, a lot far-fetched. If you're getting impaled with a chainsaw and it's just being run around your torso for several seconds, and then you're lifted up in the air by it, and then thrown across the street, let me tell you something, you're going to die on the spot. You're not going to live for another 20 minutes and try to make a bigger impact in the movie. No. Okay, and these are details. These are details that need to be addressed, because if your entire torso and guts were just shredded apart with a chainsaw, you're not going to survive. You're not going to live long enough to try to make a bigger impact. Not going to happen. This is one of those movies that break all of the horror movie rules and doesn't seem to care about them. And because all of those basic rules are broken, it just seemed repetitive. It seemed like something I've seen 1,000 times before. It was nothing original, really. It was just based in a more modern time, but it's the same movie over and over. And I think because of the extreme over-the-top sense of these killings and the horror movie rule breaking, I'm going to refer to it as that because I don't know any other way to refer to it, I just seem to get less and less attached to the movie. I finished the movie, I feel almost out of obligation, not so much out of enjoyment. So although there were some good points to the movie, lots of blood, lots of gore, the return of a very popular franchise and a very popular character in Leatherface, I feel like the execution of the movie was just, it missed its mark. Just past that halfway mark, I was kind of getting bored of it. Nothing original was happening. Nothing original ended up happening. I don't think this is a movie I'm going to watch again. I'll be completely honest. There are much better interpretations of Leatherface and much better movies to go watch rather than this one. But that is only my personal opinion. I am not a professional critic. I do want your opinion down below, what you thought of the movie, if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, is there a reason you haven't seen it? Don't forget to drop a like on the video for me. Hit that subscribe button if you want to be entered in that gift card giveaway. I'm Kevin, and I'll see you at the concession stands.